Have you ever found yourself in relationships or interactions where you feel like you're surrounded by people who just don't seem to get it? Maybe you've noticed certain behaviors in women that leave you shaking your head, questioning their mindset, their decisions, or their fundamental way of looking at life and relationships. These observations can be puzzling, sometimes frustrating, and even painful. But here's the critical insight. Understanding these signs isn't just about pointing fingers or criticizing others. It's about something far more important. Protecting your own peace of mind, avoiding unnecessary drama and heartache, and making better, wiser choices when it comes to the relationships you invest in. By recognizing these patterns, you equip yourself to navigate connections with greater clarity and foresight. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll have a clearer perspective on certain relationship dynamics that could fundamentally change the way you approach your love life forever, saving you from potential pitfalls. Before we dive into these revealing signs and unlock the wisdom needed to understand them, make sure to subscribe to Stoic Way of Life channel and hit the like button if you're ready to embrace the power of Stoic philosophy for better relationships. Stick around until the very end, because what you'll learn today could just be the wake-up call you need to build connections based on clarity and strength. Let's get started. Just pretend you've met someone in a completely unfamiliar social setting. Being in her company makes everything seem perfect. She's beautiful and fun. However, as you spend more time together, little things start to pile up, and you begin to question her apparent intelligence. But hold on, intelligence is not exactly what I am primarily talking about in conventional sense. No, what we mean here is the highly esteemed Stoic qualities of practical knowledge, self-awareness, and emotional intelligence. According to Seneca, a prominent Stoic writer, the greatest obstacle to living is expectancy, which hangs upon tomorrow and loses today. This powerful idea suggests that our present decisions, especially regarding the people we choose to associate with and build relationships with, might dictate our future well-being and whether we truly live in the present or are constantly disrupted. In particular, what are these signs that a woman might be exhibiting a form of naivete or a lack of this crucial Stoic intelligence that can lead to troubled relationships? We may analyze each one separately. Sign number 1, she thrives on drama. Have you ever found yourself in a relationship that sent you on a wild roller coaster of emotions? One minute everything is fine, and suddenly, without much provocation, you're in the middle of an intense fight over something trivial like a late text message or a misinterpreted tone. As a result, you start to wonder what makes it so challenging every single time you interact. If you hear someone actually enjoying causing trouble or chaos, you should be on the lookout. Some women, and let's be honest, some men too, seem to have a knack for making things worse than they need to be. They crave disorder and find ways to cause it, even when there isn't any objective reason for conflict. It's as if they can't go about their daily lives without feeling some kind of intense emotional pain or upheaval. But the point is, a healthy relationship isn't supposed to be a never-ending soap opera filled with manufactured crises. An emotionally intelligent woman, one guided by a form of Stoic wisdom, seeks peace and tranquility, not turmoil. This is because she understands that the weight of true power is not found in becoming furious about trivial things, but in maintaining one's tranquility and inner calm regardless of external circumstances. Jump back to your own romantic experiences. Have you ever dated someone who couldn't stop finding fault or manufacturing conflict? Maybe she'd get disproportionately angry if you didn't respond to her text message within 5 minutes. On the flip side, she'd accuse you of not caring enough and start arguments if you went out with friends or pursued an independent hobby. It might hurt a little at first, perhaps even feeling intensely passionate, but it gets emotionally draining after a while, wearing down your peace and energy. Why does this pattern happen? Because drama, for some, is a perverse form of attention-seeking or a way to feel alive. If no one is reacting to them, if things are calm, then they might feel something is wrong. Their minds are conditioned to chaos and find peace unsettling. Before you know it, if you're not careful, you're ensnared in a never-ending cycle of emotional highs and lows, broken hearts and broken promises, potentially deceiving yourself into believing that this intense emotional turbulence is love. On the other hand, if you find yourself being constantly consumed and exhausted by her emotional tempests, it's wise to pause and ask yourself, is this really the life I want? As stated by Marcus Aurelius, a wise Stoic emperor. The mind, not external circumstances, is within your control. You will find the power you need once you recognize this. A truly wise woman understands that love should be a haven, a place of mutual support and tranquility, not a constant battlefield. If that person consistently accuses you of wrongdoing when none exists, or seems to thrive on creating conflict, you may want to seriously reconsider your connection with her. If you're thinking, wow, this sounds just like my last relationship, while watching this, please know that you're not alone. Many have been there. The key is to recognize the pattern and break out before it drains your power, peace, and well-being. I assure you, you're not alone. I want to know whether you've ever been in a relationship where the drama felt superfluous and manufactured. Share your story with me below. Sign number 2, she can't take responsibility. Right now, let me paint a picture for you. Picture this. You're in a relationship where everything is going swimmingly until it doesn't. It could be a small argument, a missed appointment, or something more serious like a breakdown in communication with loved ones or a mistake at work. But instead of talking it out rationally, understanding what went wrong, or owning her part, she immediately jumps to conclusions, gets defensive, and declares, "It's not my fault. You ought to have been more careful," or blame someone else entirely. Have you heard of this situation before? If that's the case, you know how incredibly frustrating and stagnant it is to be in any kind of partnership, romantic or otherwise, with someone who will always avoid doing their job or owning their part. It's perpetually someone else's fault, whether it's their parents, their ex-partner, their boss, the government, or even you. But the reality is that if the other person cannot take fundamental responsibility for their own acts, their mistakes, their choices, and their emotional responses, you and your relationship will never genuinely grow or move forward. You'll be stuck in a cycle of blame. So let's be honest, we're all imperfect. Everyone makes mistakes. The ability to recognize one's mistakes, assess the current situation honestly, learn from it, and proceed with accountability is what fundamentally distinguishes the intelligent and mature individual from the foolish or naive. According to Stoicism, understanding oneself, including one's own flaws and errors, is the true source of power and wisdom. We suffer not from the events in our lives, famously said Epictetus, another influential Stoic philosopher, but from our judgment about them. This applies directly here. It's not just making a mistake, but the judgment about the mistake and who is responsible, rather than trying to avoid making errors altogether, which is impossible for any human. The secret to fulfilled life and healthy relationships is finding ways to deal with them constructively and with accountability. But this naive woman, she is trapped by her victim mindset, and it refuses to leave her side. No matter how bad things become, no matter the clear evidence, someone else is inevitably to blame. The fault is always external. Staying around this type of person will inevitably lead to you being unfairly held responsible for things that were never your fault, carrying the emotional burden of their inability to own up. Do you feel exhausted from constantly bearing that weight? Think about the relationships you've been in the past. Has somebody you're close with ever had genuine trouble saying, "I was wrong," or "I made a mistake"? How did you feel when that happened? Perhaps feeling down, unheard, or not valued. This is due to the fact that mutual accountability and the willingness to apologize are fundamental to every healthy relationship foundation. Having a partner who is willing to grow alongside us, recognizing their own imperfections and working on them, is much more appealing and conducive to a strong bond than being with someone who is constantly looking for someone else to blame for their own shortcomings. Responsibility, on the other hand, is a profound strength, not a weakness. For a strong, mature woman, she owns up to her mistakes, offers sincere apologies when needed, and works genuinely to improve for the future. If you're looking for a life-altering event in a positive way, discovering and connecting with someone like that is it. You should exercise caution as a partner around someone whose lack of maturity manifests itself in their consistent inability to take responsibility for their actions and words. Also, are you serious about wanting to be in a relationship where you're always the one to bear the emotional burden of blame? Can you truly trust that the person you're spending time with will own up to their mistakes and learn from them? Or will you perpetually be covering for them? Is it that everyone you ask for an explanation always conveniently finds someone else to blame? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments section. And if you connected with the message of this video so far, press the like and subscribe buttons. Sign number 3, she values materialism over character. Is it your experience that partners in relationships seem more interested in what you can provide them financially or materially than in genuinely getting to know you as a person and valuing your character? Maybe it seemed nice at first. Perhaps you enjoy being able to spoil her, get her gifts, and take her on romantic outings or expensive trips. Nevertheless, a subtle or not-so-subtle change came later on. After deducting the cost of expensive presents, lavish meals, and excursions, you started to see that there wasn't much depth or connection left beneath the surface. The relationship seemed transactional. If you've ever been in a relationship where one partner consistently values material goods, money, or a certain lifestyle more than honesty, loyalty, emotional connection, and character, you could have experienced something similar, perhaps even feeling used. Trust me when I say this is a difficult and often painful road to go down. At first, you might rationalize it. You might believe those are simply high expectations, or that she's just as good taste. You keep telling yourself things like, she deserves nice things, or I want to provide for her. But deep down, a nagging feeling tells you that it doesn't matter how much you provide. You still feel like you're not truly seen or valued for who you are. She'll always find something bigger, better, or more expensive to request or subtly hint at. And the worst part is, she is never truly satisfied for long. Think back. When was the last time you were in a relationship where your worth seemed to be judged primarily by your bank account or your ability to provide material things? As an example, how she might subtly compare you to others. She might have said things like, "Why can't we go on vacations like my friend Sarah and her boyfriend?" Or implied, "If you truly cared about me, you would have purchased this for me." But the truth is that a wise woman, one with mature values, knows that genuine love and connection are far more important and fulfilling than material goods or a fancy trip. She values characteristics like loyalty, kindness, emotional connection, reliability, and character development more than material possessions or a lavish lifestyle. The Stoics believe deeply that true happiness is an inward condition cultivated through virtue and mindset, and not something that can be bought or acquired with external wealth or possessions. Wealth consists not in having great possessions. The Stoic philosopher Seneca sums up nicely, but in having few wants. Giving to a person whose happiness depends solely on external acquisition and who is always seeking more would never genuinely satisfy them in the long run. Their desire is a bottomless pit. With a woman who values integrity and character more than wealth, your efforts to build a genuine connection and be a good partner will be much more appreciated and reciprocated. She values the significance of performer, your character and intentions, more than just the act itself, the gift or the expense. When it comes to experiencing gratitude and building a bond based on mutual respect, ask yourself honestly, does the person you're with genuinely value you for who you are, or are you just a means to a goal for them, a source of resources? Post a comment if you've ever suspected that financial considerations rather than genuine feelings were driving a relationship you were in. This speaks to a lot of folks' experiences. If you're finding this message valuable, please like and subscribe for further relationship guidance and Stoic wisdom. Sign number 4, she constantly seeks validation. Right now, this is a big one in the modern age. Did the people you were with constantly seem to seek confirmation and reassurance when you were around? Maybe you told her the clothing she was wearing was beautiful once, and now all she seems to want is another compliment every time you see her. On the other hand, she is always posting to her social media sites in the hopes of receiving constant external validation through comments, likes, and reactions from strangers or acquaintances. It might have a charming and appealing appearance initially. You might think, oh, she just likes attention, and that's okay. But you know deep down that this constant need is emotionally exhausting for you to try and fulfill. You can't help but feel that there's never enough love, attention, or reassurance for her, regardless of what you do. A woman with low self-esteem would never stop seeking affirmation from external sources because she is fundamentally looking for others to provide the fulfillment she needs but cannot find within herself. What exactly is wrong with that? From this perspective, words of encouragement, monetary gifts, or external praise will never be enough for her. The void is internal and cannot be filled by external input. Let your mind wander to a situation where you felt constantly prompted or tested to show your commitment or affection over and over again. Is this anything you've ever encountered? Someone may have subtly or overtly said things like you didn't message her enough, didn't post enough compliments about her online, or didn't do enough to make her feel special when you were physically there. But the truth is, true love and genuine connection don't require constant external approval or performance to sustain them. Cultivating self-worth and gaining confidence from within is an important part of the Stoic philosophy. Stop wasting time debating the qualities a good man ought to have, famously said Marcus Aurelius. Put out your best effort toward becoming that man. The value of your worth is not determined by the views of others, but by your own deeds and your own judgment of your character. A confident and well-informed woman, one who has cultivated her own self-worth, doesn't need anyone's constant validation, not even yours, to feel okay about herself. She knows her worth internally, and she trusts in the love and respect you give her even when you don't express it overtly all the time. But this naive woman, she is trapped in a cycle of needing constant external input. She is never satisfied because the need is internal. What she really needs is a continual flow of public praise, social media likes, and verbal expressions of love to feel temporarily okay. And the sad reality is, trying to fulfill this need might drain your emotional reserves to the point where you feel like your actions and genuine affection have no lasting impact. If you're experiencing any of the following and thinking, "Wow, this is exactly what I've been dealing with," then please know that you are most certainly not alone. Many men find themselves in this dynamic, rather than being regarded as an equal partner. Many people end up in situations where they are treated like a commodity whose purpose is to provide validation. Please pay attention. The situation will likely only become worse unless you recognize the pattern and set clear, healthy boundaries to protect your energy. Relationships should be a collaborative endeavor built on mutual internal strength, not an individual one, where one partner constantly demands external validation from the other. Has anybody you've dated ever been in a relationship with who seemed to need constant affirmation from you because they lack self-confidence and internal validation? Leave a comment below to share your experience. Feel free to subscribe for more insightful videos and hit the like button if this one makes you think about your own love relationships. Sign number 5. She can't handle criticism. Is the feeling of walking on eggshells and constant suspense in a relationship something you're familiar with? Consider the following scenario. You say something harmless or constructive like, "Hey, maybe we should try eating healthier together." Or, "Perhaps there's a different way to approach this problem." But she gets immediately defensive, perhaps even furious, and completely misunderstands your words as a personal attack. This will resonate with everyone who has gone through it. It's a common dynamic. Some women may find it impossible to cope with any kind of criticism, even positive or constructive feedback, intended to be helpful. They react angrily or defensively instead of listening, because they take any perceived criticism personally, as an indictment of their worth. Have you heard of this situation before? Perhaps you were thinking, "Maybe I need to be more careful with my words," or "I must have said it wrong." But then you realize that no matter how gently or thoughtfully you phrase things, the reaction is always the same: defensive, emotional, shutting down, and occasionally even manipulative to turn the situation back on you. The next thing you know, you're attempting to maintain harmony by actively putting off or avoiding difficult but necessary conversations altogether. Then think back on your love life. Telling your sweetheart the truth or offering a different perspective has never seemed so difficult or fraught with potential conflict. When was the last occasion? Maybe you were trying to be honest and help her see things from a different perspective, rooted in care, but she was offended and rejected your input anyhow. The foundation of every successful partnership and personal growth should be mutual improvement. This can only happen if each partner is willing to listen genuinely to the other, learn from their experiences and perspectives, and strive for personal growth together. According to Stoic philosophy, in order to better oneself, one must first be aware of their own inadequacies or areas for improvement. As Epictetus states, it is impossible for a man to begin to learn what he thinks he already knows. Those who are consistently resistant to feedback or criticism, even when it's well-intentioned, are fundamentally resistant to self-improvement and destined to keep making the same errors and repeating the same unproductive patterns. A wise woman, one committed to growth and self-awareness, understands that constructive criticism, such as recommendations for change or different approaches, is never intended to be insulting to her core worth. She can separate the feedback from her identity. But this naive woman, trapped by insecurity, she will take it personally and often make you out to be a bad guy for daring to offer input, no matter how much you simply want what's best for her and the relationship. Trust me when I say it gets old really quickly and creates an environment where genuine communication and growth are stifled. Does this kind of connection encourage growth for either of you? If your partner consistently rejects your suggestions or input, you may want to consider asking yourself that question honestly. Or am I stuck in my own defensiveness and can't go past it? No, the question is, are they stuck? In the event that you have been through something similar, please do not hesitate to share your story in the comments. If this is making you reflect on your own relationships, hit the like button and subscribe for more open discussions about life, love, and personal growth. Sign number 6. She lacks self-discipline. A seldom discussed subject, but a crucial one for long-term compatibility and growth, is self-discipline. Has a partner ever been frustratingly unpredictable or inconsistent in your relationship? Maybe she had grand aspirations. She spoke passionately of wanting to start a business, become in shape physically, travel the world, or achieve significant personal goals. When things became really serious, or when it came time to put in a consistent effort, though, she was the one who would consistently make excuses, procrastinate, or simply fail to follow through. Have you heard of this situation before? At first, it might not stand out. When you think about it, at first you could think she just needs some motivation or that you can help her get there. But then you'll see that she continually falls short of her goals and commitments, both big and small. From little commitments like waking up at a sensible hour consistently, to larger ones like developing her career or sticking to a personal development plan. She just fundamentally lacks the sustained self-control and discipline required to actually do them. Think about your own romantic past for a second. In your relationship, when was the last occasion when you felt like you were making a unique contribution in terms of consistent effort or planning? If anything, you were the one who always planned, set goals, and remained committed to following through, whereas she appeared to consistently want to coast, make excuses, and never really try consistently toward achieving personal growth or shared objectives. Achieving contentment in a life well lived, according to the Stoics, is all about mastering one's own mind, emotions, and actions through consistent effort and discipline. You must build up your life action by action, Marcus Aurelius said, and be satisfied if each one achieves its goal. His words provide a helpful model for the process of transforming dreams and aspirations into real achievements through consistent, disciplined action. People can't escape where they are right now until they consistently work to change their present circumstances through disciplined action. Any astute woman worth her salt knows that the key to success and progress in life is consistent work and self-discipline. Words and intentions fail when compared to consistent deeds. But this naive woman, words and intentions are often all that come out of her mouth. Consistent action and follow-through are lacking. It can be draining in the end, even for those who thrive on progress and challenge themselves. It's no picnic being in a committed relationship with a disorganized or undisciplined person who constantly makes excuses. Attempting to go forward with them and then having them pull you back with their inconsistency feels like a struggle that will never stop. Ultimately, you must choose between a partner who will encourage and align with your development and growth, and one who would hinder it with their lack of discipline and follow-through. Feel free to share your story if you've ever been in a relationship where you consistently felt that you were the one putting in the most work and effort towards shared goals or life progress. Like this video if you're having fun with it, and subscribe for more videos about relationships and self-improvement. Wrapping up the assignment. According to the ancient Stoics, the qualities discussed represent a form of naivete, not necessarily a lack of academic intelligence, but a deficiency in practical wisdom, self-awareness, and emotional discipline crucial for navigating life and relationships constructively. Making a harsh judgment about someone's entire character is irrelevant here. The ability to detect toxic or unproductive behaviors and mindsets, understand the warning signals they represent, and take the necessary steps to avoid their harmful effects on your own life and well-being is crucial. Instead of surrounding himself with negative or stagnant people, a smart man, a Stoic-inspired man, seeks out positive influences and partners who can encourage him and align with his efforts to overcome his own weaknesses and grow. In addition, the difference between joy and sorrow, fulfillment and frustration in a love relationship could be as simple as making wise, clear-eyed choices about who you partner with based on character and behavior, not just surface attraction or wishful thinking. Based on the advice in Stoic philosophy, applying this to today's life means cultivating your own inner strength, the opposite of these naive traits, sharpening your observation skills, seeing people as they are, and making reasoned judgments about who you allow into your inner circle. Stoicism teaches us to focus on our own virtue, self-control, and wisdom, qualities that help us recognize a lack of these traits in others and wisely choose relationships that support, rather than hinder, our own path to a good life. Recognizing these signs in others is a way to practice prudent judgment and protect your own peace, which is firmly within your control. If you found this video thought-provoking and valuable, I would really appreciate it if you could hit the like button and subscribe to the Stoic Heart channel for more insights like this. Share it with anybody you think would find it useful. You don't have to be an expert in everything to be wise. Recognizing priorities and making informed choices is critical. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these 6 signs have you encountered most often in relationships? Or, focusing on yourself, which are the opposite Stoic qualities: self-awareness, responsibility, focus on character, self-discipline, handling criticism, seeking inner validation. Do you feel you need to cultivate most in your own life? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time on Stoic Way of Life.